How would you like to be let in on a little secret? Actually, it's a very big secret that you're going to experience today. Before I get to that and tell you all about that, I do need to tell you something that's not a secret. It was a surprise to me last night when I broke half of one of my teeth. Hi, friend. It's Daryn. Welcome to Call Me Friend, powered by Miss Lou's Cabin, an Airbnb property on a remote section of the Georgia coast. This is the podcast where I call a friend and you get one heck of an incredible story. So there was an emergency trip to the dentist this morning. Thank you, new dentist, Dr. Pate Smith, Wilmington Island, Georgia. Thank you for putting me back together. My tooth is restored. My face, not all the way. It's still a little bit numb. So if you're watching on video and it looks like I'm kind of, Jim Carrey, that is why. But all is good. So we're fine. And I am grateful. I just wanted to explain if also my mouth sounds like 1,000 marbles inside. We're good. Okay. Now to the surprise. I actually think like I should maybe be whispering. If you've listened to earlier episodes of Call Me Friend, you know that when I'm not doing the podcast, I'm executive director of this amazing foundation called Just One More Foundation. We exist basically to give grants for second chances, and we especially like to give grants to individuals. We look for people who have had some kind of obstacle, have overcome part of the obstacle, could use some help with the ultimate goal of going on to help other people. We really feel like we are creating this ripple of second chances in America. It's really exciting. So here's where the surprise comes in. Sometimes when people apply and we've chosen them for a grant, we have been known to tell them, we need you to come on for like a Zoom call and have a follow-up interview. And if you're not watching on video, just know that I'm saying follow-up interview with air quotes, because here's the thing. The person comes on, we ask them questions, we get to know more about their story, but really, and here's the secret, we already know we're going to give them the grant. And that is exactly what is going to happen today. Just One More Foundation was started by a very good friend of mine, this incredible man named Richard Rogers from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Richard has had more than his fair share of second chances, including a second chance at life after he was struck by lightning and he died. He literally died, and they brought him back to life. I had Richard on an earlier episode, and we will link to that in the show notes, but I really encourage you to listen into that one to hear a story that will blow your mind. So, here's what's going to happen. We're going to do a call with Richard and this man named, let me just double check, his name is Jimmy Erickson. He turned in his application a few months ago. We reached out this week. We said, we need to talk to you. And so he's coming on, not realizing that he's coming on to a podcast, which of course we'll eventually tell him, but he is coming on for his follow-up interview. And we get to do this all together. We get to change one man's life. So let's listen in and let's call Richard and James. This episode is powered by Miss Lou's Cabin, an Airbnb property on a remote section of the Georgia coast. Do you ever go to a beautiful resort and you long to know what this place looked like before they paved paradise and put up all those parking lots? Well, here's your chance. Miss Lou's Cabin sits on 7 private acres on a tidal saltwater marsh about 15 minutes south of Savannah, Georgia. It is a place so quiet that you don't even hear road noise. Instead, you're going to hear pink spoonbills, wild dolphins feeding off your private dock. I just saw some this morning. The breeze whistling through the Spanish moss that hangs from countless oak trees all around the property. And then there's this porch overlooking the marsh that is absolutely a perfect place to hang with your family and friends, read a zillion books, catch the sunrise, drink a great cup of coffee, all while you stay in a restored log cabin that has all the comforts and amenities of a beautiful home. Miss Lou's Cabin, check it out in the link below in our show notes, or simply Google Miss Lou's Cabin and you'll find this piece of paradise. Hello, James. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
And is it James, Jim, Jimmy? How do you like to be called?
So I normally go by Jimmy. So,
Jimmy. So is it okay if we call you Jimmy?
absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm Daryn Kagan. I'm the executive director of Just One More Foundation. And this is Richard Rogers. He's actually the founder of the foundation. And we're really pleased to have you here with us today.
I'm happy to have this opportunity and to be here as well.
Awesome. Well, as you can imagine, we have been inundated with applications for grants. I think for this cycle, we received something like 250 applications from people all over the country, a lot of worthy people, a lot of great stories. And for some of them, we read the application, we just have some questions. And so it helps us if we say to certain people, can you come on with us and answer some questions? So that's what this is. And we really appreciate you being able to do that with us.
Absolutely.
As you know, we are about second chances. And when we look at your application, we see that you had some obstacles early in your life, and you've already done a substantial amount of work to make different choices. Can you tell us about some of those early obstacles and some of the choices that maybe weren't great earlier in your life? Because, of course, nobody's perfect, and we're not about perfect here.
So when I graduated high school and went to college the first time, I went to a private school at high school, so I was kind of sheltered. And then when I went to college, I just kind of went crazy, to be honest. And I did a whole lot of drugs. I started selling drugs. I ended up dropping out of school just because I didn't attend classes. And I went into that lifestyle for a good 6 years. And I just kind of kept going further and further down that road. And then at a certain point, I woke up and I was like, I'm going to kill myself if I keep doing this. I have to stop. And that was just a reality for me, just being 100% transparent. And then going forward from there, I moved to Chattanooga and I started a job down here, and I met a wonderful lady. And when I met her, she had a child already. And so I became a part of that family. So I became dad when he was 2 years old. And I've been with him ever since. And he just turned 12 at the beginning of this month. And so about 3 years ago, I decided to start going back towards school. And I have absolutely been going and crushing it. I have a 4.0. And a little bit about this is my child is, he's severely autistic and requires 24/7 care. So she stays at home with him. So we're a single income household. So while I'm a general manager of a restaurant, I earn decent money. It's not enough for three people, especially one that has certain requirements, just to be 100% honest. So the only way for me to do this is I have to go to school full time, which I've been doing, 4.0 GPA. And I also work 60 hours a week running a First Watch restaurant in downtown. And I'm just balancing it all. And, it feels like I'm drowning sometimes, because let's see, I wake up at 4:35 in the morning and I go to work, and then, I leave and go to class, and then I come back, and here I am. I'm currently in my restaurant shutting down the books. And then I'm going to go home and study until 1 or 2 a.m. and I'm going to do it all over again. But the thing is I have drive and my family is worth it. So I'm going to get it done, but it's just a lot.
It sounds like it. I think Richard has some questions for you. And thank you for all of the story. It's very personal. It's so touching and inspiring, and that you would share with us. We just really, really appreciate that. Richard, what's your question for Jimmy?
Well, Jimmy, get your honesty and intelligence. So, and in your application, you have a statement that all of a sudden you decided to sober up, quit doing what you were doing. Was there something that made you go, like a moment in time where you just, I got to quit this? And I heard you say that earlier, but was there a specific event where you just said, hey, I'm tired of this, going this road?
So there was two defining events that made me lead to that. So the first one was I got 2 DUIs. So it's kind of two events, but In the second DUI, I ended up hitting another car and didn't have insurance. And it was a whole slew of events, and I'm lucky I didn't kill myself or someone else. Just to be 100% honest with you. And then on top of that, someone who was one of my good friends went to the hospital, and he had failure in the liver and the kidneys, and he was in intensive care for almost a month, and he was hallucinating, and his body was basically just shutting down. And it really made me realize that this is going to be me if I keep this train going on in my life. And I've already had a couple of times where I should have, in all honesty, not made it. So those are the two defining, I guess, things that made me really change.
So those bad things, the good things, turned you around.
It gave me a lot of perspective and a lot of humility about, basically, I'm just not being the smartest human being right now. I say that in nice words.
Good way to put that. You mentioned your son, and you talk about him in your application. Tell us more about him and what he means to you.
So he is the world to me. He is my main source of motivation. So right when I started this track, I would say when he was about 6, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I had this was another moment, and this wasn't anything comparatively, but I had a choice whether, am I going to keep smoking cigarettes or am I going to give him Christmas presents? And it was that day that I quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey, and I haven't smoked cigarettes then, and I won't again. It's a nasty habit, just to be 100% honest. But it's one of those things. It's hard to quit once you start. But I don't spend nearly as much time with him as I would like to, and he is absolutely the world to me. I love him to death. He's the best boy that you'll ever meet. He's the kindest soul, and he's diagnosed as nonverbal, but he goes to Siskin and he does speech therapy with the school. He does it multiple times a week, so he is getting better and better. And he's one of those people. It's an adventure. So when I was, he was growing up, you had to kind of learn his language. And then you had to translate that language to what it meant in English. And then you just form a bond that way. It's like he might say something completely off the wall, and then you realize, hey, that means cereal. So then you connect it. So that means cereal. So then you work on connecting it to, hey, this is when he's talking about cereal. And he's gotten to the point where he can speak and you can understand him. It's not full sentences or correct grammar, but the progress he's made is tremendous. And I just have to keep telling him that, there's a reason for this. There's a reason why I'm not around all the time right now. And it's going to be really good. We just have to get there. Just got to get there first. So, but he means the world to me.
So I'm just going to jump in here, Jimmy, and tell you, I mentioned off the top, we have well over 250 applications this cycle. Our funds are limited. You asked for $20,000, and it sounds like you are so close to finishing your degree. And even though we're not able to do $20,000, we definitely wanted to connect with you today and tell you how much your application meant to us and how much your story means to us. And we didn't want you to hear from us, sorry, we can't do 20,000 by like some letter in the mail. We wanted a chance to talk to you and meet you person to person. And beyond that $20,000, this is where we bring Richard in, and this is where he talks about the math and the reality of our foundation. I mean, if we could give everybody everything, of course we would, but we just can't. But we did want to encourage you. So Richard, you take it from here.
Jimmy, we want to help you, and in looking in further detail at your application, it appears that $5,000 would pay for your final semester.
Yeah, it absolutely would pay for my final semester.
And further consideration and digging deeper into your story, and it's really remarkable what you're doing for your family, the sacrifices you're making, and you've got a second chance, and I believe you're the type of person that believes in second chances because you got a second chance, and I think like you're wanting to give your son a second chance, and that's what we're all about. So what we would like to do is award you $5,000 to pay for that final semester.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means the world to us, and it's just going to help my family out that much more. And it's one of those things that every little bit counts. It all adds up, and it's just less of a burden on them. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. And we'd like to thank you because for us, the joy is getting to meet people like you and to give you a little insight, to take you behind the curtains. A couple things. One, we knew we were giving you the grant before we brought you on. It's just a little bit of a surprise. You didn't have to make your case today. Two,
Thank you.
the reason we were so impressed with you, we look for people who have already done work, and you've done a significant amount of work, Jimmy. You're so close to the finish line. That's another thing we look for. And then the kind of final little piece that we really like, the kind of people we like to find, are people who are looking to overcome their obstacles and achieve their goals so that they could go on to help other people. And some of the people we pick, they're going on to help hundreds or thousands of people. But the thing that really touched us about your story, you've picked one person. You've picked this one when you met him, this little boy, that 99% of other men would have run the other way. And yet something about you said, this is my boy, this is my son. And by helping you, we
Absolutely.
know that you're helping him. And who even knows how many people he's going to go ahead and touch. So you and your family and your son are ultimately part of our second chance revolution that we think is rippling across America.
And thank you guys so very much. And it's going to mean the world to us. Every bit helps. And I really, really appreciate it more than you guys know.
Well, Jimmy,
And so does my son. I promise you.
you
Oh no, it's clear. It's clear. He's your son.
yeah, you're applying yourself for really good reasons, not selfishly, but to help others. And tell you what, we believe in you. We believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to do it no matter what's in front of me. It's going to happen and it will be done.
That's a good
I
attitude.
really, really thank you. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to you. Tell us the timeline. So you have one more semester and then you
So I
graduate
have-
and then what happens?
So I have one more semester in May, and I'm already starting to put out applications for engineering jobs. And I'm just going to go get an engineering job wherever I can that's going to balance personal life and income at the same time. And then I'm going to work on moving up the ranks in there. And eventually the entire goal, what my son's been saying for years, and the first thing I'm going to do when I get some money is he's going to Disney World. So, and I just say, hang on, buddy, it's going to happen. But that's the main goal right now. I know that's kind of, it is what it needs to happen though.
We can see it. We can see it. Absolutely. Well, congratulations. Welcome to the Just One More family. And you make us proud.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Very good.
Jimmy. Congratulations.
Congratulations. You're all set. Richard, that never gets old. That
No.
is fun every single time we get to do that.
No, I got tears.
What stood out to you about Jimmy?
I have several things, and I guess some of it is very personally related to me and my family and my story and where I've been. And I've got a son that's got problems, and he's got a son. My son just happens to be older, and I happen to be older. But the struggle is real. And with my son, he was stricken with mental illness and has been in a bad way for many, like 25 years or longer. And so hearing Jimmy's story, reading Jimmy's story, I could sympathize with where he is in his heart and in his work ethic and the reasons why he's driven to take care of his family. Actually, I got another son that's got some issues as well, and so his story just really resonates with me big time because I've been there, and I am there.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
just to be a lot younger than me. But and the fact that he's working all those hours and wants to take care of his family, and he wants to take his son to Disney World and do, the small. I mean, it's so obvious that he loves that young.
That boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so obvious, and the fact that he's been at the bottom and now he's climbing his way back out. After 2 DUIs, and his friend that he died nearly, and he saw the path that he was on, and he changed his path, and that takes a lot of guts. It's not guts, but determination.
Yeah.
And then he even talked about quitting smoking. That's tough to do for any of the smokers out there, but it's just a combination of all the things that his story, about his story and about his care for his family, just really resonates. And it's all about caring about others, even more sometimes than yourself. And in his case, it's very obvious that he is, sacrificing. And I think in the interview you said, a lot of men would walk away from that situation, but he's embraced it, and he's accepted the challenge. Not only accepted it, sounds like he's welcomed it, and
Yeah.
he's glad to be challenged with it.
Sounds like his son is a very powerful individual because he is so inspiring. The thing I loved about his story in terms of what it means to the foundation is, like I mentioned, nobody's perfect. We're not looking for people with a perfect resume. He owns that he made some bad choices, but he's down the path of changing. We get so many applications of people who, they want help right at the point of crisis, and that's so important, but that's not what we do. We look for somebody like Jimmy who's already put in the work, has gotten far, but could still use some help, and then wants to ultimately go on and help somebody else. And it sounds so niche and narrow, and we realize that it is. And yet, every cycle of every grant that we go through, we find more people like Jimmy. And it's such a joy to get to do this work.
Yeah, he was sort of thrown in the bottom of a well, and by his own choosing, by making bad decisions, and he realized that he was at the bottom of that well, and he's gotten determined to climb out of it, but not just climb out of it for himself, but for others and for his son,
Yeah.
his family, and that's something. That's really something.
One thing that also strikes me every time we do this, and let me know if it's the same for you, when we pick people, they are so grateful and they want to say thank you 1,000 times. But I feel like it's a little bit twisted. Like we're the ones that should be thanking them because we get to know people like them. It's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I feel like we're the lucky ones.
Oh, absolutely. And on top of that, we get to follow not just, it's not like we just take a snapshot today and what's going on and what we're trying to help with going forward. We keep up with what goes on forward, and when we care and give it the application, they've agreed to let us track their future road, their future program. And I believe he's going to be one that's going to really excel, and he's going to get his engineering degree. He's working long hours at a restaurant, making a 4.0 average, and that's the kind of employee that any employer that's looking for a good, solid person in that position. There's not a whole lot of those around anymore these days.
Nope. People who want to work hard.
But it's so obvious in his case that he's a go-getter.
He is. Well, thank you, friend. That was fun. Like I said, never gets old. So fun. So fun. Love that part of the job.
Yeah.
Until the next time, we'll go get more. All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
So was it worth it? Was it worth it to keep the secret? Wasn't that just so fun? I don't even know how many of those I've been able to do. I mean, we've recorded some of them, but we do them a lot. And like I said, it never gets old to get to change somebody's life like that. And it's possible the audio quality wasn't our best, but we persevere and we go on. And I hope it was enough for you to get to experience what it is to get to tell somebody that, yes, you are going to get the grant that's going to help you change your life and then change other people's lives. Thanks for coming along with that, friend. Now, before I go, this part is not a secret. I share this every episode. I could use something from you. This podcast can really use your support, and it just takes a couple seconds. And there's a number of ways you can do it. You can you can share, you can comment, you can put a clip on social media. Any of it helps Call Me Friend grow. It is no joke trying to grow a podcast when there's a zillion choices out there. So the more friends you tell about this podcast, it really, really helps. And I would really appreciate it. I also have a phone number for you to be in touch with me. You can use that phone number just to call to say hello, because that's what you do for a friend. You can do it to let me know how a certain episode or guest affected you. You can tell me about a friend of yours who I need to know. Would love any of it. My number is 912-766-0446. You can call that number and leave a message. You can text me, and you can do it 24/7 because I don't hear it ring. So it's there for you 24/7. So I would love for you to call me. I would love for you to call a friend. Maybe there's a friend who you know could use a second chance, or a friend who has done a great job with their second chance. You should give them a call and let them know how proud you are of them. And if you happen to know somebody who might be interested in one of the grants from Just One More Foundation, the address is justonemorefoundation.org, and we will have a link in show notes below. We would love to hear from you for a potential grant as well. In the meantime, thanks for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. Chat soon. You've been listening to Call Me Friend. Executive producers for this show are Daryn Kagan and me, Daryn Kagan. Could not do this show without my great team. Produce Your Podcast and Journeys Inc. Production by Abe Fallick, Tammy Gagno, and Rob Paw.
Before you go, Call Me Friend is more than a podcast, it's a community. So head over to callmefriendpodcast.com to join the conversation. Or you can call or send a text to 912-766-0446, and you can leave Daryn a message there, or maybe even share a story of your own. Because when life gets real, you don't have to go it alone. Call a friend. Call this friend.